I have no idea about anything Mr. Beast. I know he exists, and I know it's content for, like, little kids.
He made people see again. He's basically Jesus.
Didn't he make a lot of people sick with his Mr. Beast burger? Didn't I see that, too?
But that wasn't his fault. That was the third-party company that purchased his trademark to use, and he promoted. They had a quality issue, and he called them out for it. But remember, we're talking about a white man with a beard that makes people see. We're talking about Jesus. Jesus has risen and is walking amongst us and is using the name Mr. Beast. That's why they told you in the Bible, the mark of the beast. That's the beast bar. And you need to find that beast bar
It's the
and
number
bring
of the
it to
beast.
your home. Yeah, the beast bar, that's the price. The number of the beast is the price of the beast bar at your local Walmart. Go get one today. That's my plug. I'm going to do that again when you were doing plugs. That's my plug.
Say plug a couple more times.
I'm going to plug that hole.
No, all right. No, I regret. As soon as I said it, I was like, this is a bad idea. Hello and welcome to another episode of Bright Guy and His Super Friends. I'm your host, Brian Labick. Joining me for this episode is Mr. Movie Slut, Josh Zorich.
I'm glad you at least had that because I was going to open by sharing that I think we're so all out of practice with this that I kind of forget how this works.
You and me both. Next up, the bearded one, Mike Bradley.
When did we agree on that name?
I don't know. I just threw it in there because right now you're the only one with a beard. Not that it matters for audio listeners, but
I mean, it can.
Sets you apart.
It can matter for audio listeners.
A little ASMR with the rubbing of the microphone.
Yeah, make sure you don't cut that out because people need that.
It's just going to sound like...
Yeah, exactly. Leave it in there. People wanted to hear the beard. You gave them the beard. Now they got the beard.
All right. And last, he swore he'd never do another list episode ever again after he got roped into a 4-hour podcast. But here he is again, Ian Leidick.
What's up, podcast people? Check out my podcast, The List, where I list the list episodes I'm on and which ones I like the most on The List. It's now on Spotify. Check out The List, which is my list episode about lists episodes I am on. The List.
I would actually listen to that because I'm curious which ones you actually liked being on.
Well, that's not how they're ranked, though. Like, he has different rankings of those, you know? He ranks it best to worst, but he's also got, like, what are the 10 worst that he was on? And then he's got some weird rankings, like, oh, these are the 10, I don't know, lewdest top 10s I've been on, the 10 scariest, the 10 odd, shit like that.
So each episode you just re-rank the list episodes you're on with a different list?
Yeah, dude, I gotta put out a fucking episode every week.
Yeah.
I'm not on that many episodes.
Did you not hear the
lists?
description?
That's why he's here this time, because he didn't want to do them, but he needs new content. Like
he's got to pad the episodes. Yep.
Like literally, yeah. I'm just here like one of those Instagrammers that goes on a trip just so they can Instagram about it.
Got to keep the branding alive, right?
Hashtag White Spider Liquid.
Okay.
It's been too long.
All right. So how's everybody doing? We're coming down from that post-Christmas high. Everybody,
Hi.
hopefully relaxing.
I am so fucking excited because I have been unemployed for 2 months and loving it, and they're making me go back to work, and I say, fuck you, government. I shouldn't have to.
Well, live it while you can, I guess. You're, what, 2 more weeks? 1 more week?
It depends on if you need me to do something. If you need me to do something, I start on January 2nd. If you do not, I start on January 13th. Hey, everyone listening, now you know when I work.
All right, well, congrats on the new job, Ian.
Thank you. If anyone was wondering, I now am going to be the lead writer for thelist.com, which is the website version of my podcast.
Is it just like the novelization of the podcast? It's just like the transcript?
No, it's less than that. I just write out the list.
Yeah,
That's it.
No explanation.
Write out the list of that episode.
I feel like if that's not claimed already, you should claim it right now, but I feel like thelist.com has to be claimed already. Somebody has to have that.
You don't want to know how many Bezo bucks I had to spend to buy the domain.
It's all right. I'm applying. I haven't submitted my resume yet, but I'm applying to be webmaster. It's going to be an arduous process.
Yeah,
in-house.
And I'm going to get denied.
Oh, it's tough because they're all unpaid positions,
Right.
but we're calling them all internships.
Yeah.
So you're just like corporate America. You're fine.
Well, no. I'm
yeah, dude,
paid
we're
in
bringing
exposure.
slavery back.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that too.
Yeah. I mean,
And
it's the best
TikTok plugs. We'll post like his TikTok on the main TikTok feed sometimes.
payment. Yeah, exposure.
It's just sometimes, not all.
Because if you were wondering, we do have a TikTok, which is me just reciting the website, which is just a list of the list from the week.
All right. Okay. All right. So
Did we get through introductions
before you
yet?
ask, we did.
I don't think
yeah.
you introduced yourself, actually.
I did. Yeah, I said it was me.
Oh, he starts with, I'm your host, Brian Labick, and joining me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm
I
the
always
first one
thought
to
you
go.
went last. I just missed it. Never mind.
See, we are out of practice.
Yeah.
So
He
yes,
usually
before
does
you
finish
ask,
last.
this is our first episode in about 4 months. And no, this doesn't mean we're going to return to any type of regular schedule, because I've said that in the past and it still hasn't worked. That's why we took a 4-month break. So for anyone listening, I feel like all I can say is stay subscribed. There's a good chance from here on out, all of our episodes will be surprises. So we'll drop when we can. At least, the types of episodes that we try to do regularly, which is something like this, which is the list episodes. I think it's something I usually never try to skip. So this felt like the time to try to get the band back together. I got some free time through the holidays, got some time to record, got some time to edit, so we'll give it a shot. We are here to do our most anticipated top 10 most anticipated movies of 2025. Now that I fucked up the title 3 times.
So what I heard there is that we need to just become a list podcast. That way we'll just keep constantly generating.
Ian's already got
generating
that
your
covered,
interest
apparently.
to do it more. So we just need to do
Now
lists.
it's a
At
race
that
of
point,
whoever files the trademark first.
I feel like at that point I'd just be encroaching on Ian's brand now. He owns the
Well,
list.
no, I mean, yeah, but he only owns it because of you in the first place, so he'd be okay with it. Like he wouldn't
I
have
only
any
making money
lists
off this show
if not
still,
for your
so.
show.
I guess, yeah, Ian, if we do more list episodes, that's more content for the list.
Right.
Exactly. Which now your podcast is just a subsidiary of. You make content for the list.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so for anyone that hasn't listened to this, or actually probably if you have listened to this in the past, you know that our list episodes can be notoriously long. One of our longest, I think the longest we've ever done is the list episode that was like 4 hours.
That was the live one, right?
So that one's still, yeah, that was 200 or 250. One of the bigger ones.
I think
that
it was
we did. I don't
250 because
remember.
it was like
Yeah.
our top
Okay.
15 or whatever of 2020 and 21, I think.
Yeah, it was a
Oh
tough
yeah,
one.
that's right. 'Cause we
Um,
had 2 years in one the one year, and it was also like
Yeah.
live interacting with chat and stuff too a little bit.
Yep.
So that
Yep.
adds
It was a good time, folks. Go revisit it for nostalgia. It's one of the best. If it doesn't make the top 5 lists, then the list.
Well, wait,
loses
was Ian
credibility.
on that one? Was he?
Ian was on
Yes.
that one. That was why he vowed never to do a list episode.
That was one
again.
of the ones. That's one of my least favorite list episodes I've ever been on.
It's so long.
So it's
There
at
was
the
a
top
point where
of
I
the
think I
least
started-
lists.
I think I physically disassociated for like an hour.
Mm.
So the way we used to do them was we used to go through everyone's number 10. We used to do their 9 next, 8, so on, all the way through the list. Pretty much try to talk about each one. In an effort to try to shorten the episode runtime, I think the last couple times we did this, we switched up the sort of the format for it. So what we try to do now is we'll go through someone's bottom 5. We'll stop for 10 minutes. We'll talk about those 5, and then we'll go through their top 5, stop and talk about those. And then we'll move on to the next person, repeat the process. After we've gone through everyone's top 10, we'll loop back around. We'll cover some honorable mentions for each person and kind of see what didn't make the cut and try to go through that quickly. So hopefully, if we schedule this right, this will be under 2 hours. That's usually what we're aiming for. Ideally, hour and a half. We'll see if we hit that mark or not. But under 2, I think, would be good for us for a list episode. So I will do my best to remember to repeat list as we go, since for audio listeners, I can know it can be difficult to lose track of which ones we cover, where they fall in the numbered order. So I will try to repeat so we're not losing our spot. We did pick beforehand the order in which we will go through. So we will do Ian first, Josh next, Mike next, and then lastly I will finish. So nothing left to do now but start with the list. So Ian, you are up for your top 10. What is your 10 through 6? Is he doing a bit, or is he?
We can't hear you.
Number 10, Kobayashi-san chi no Maid Dragon Samishi Garia no Ryu, also known
sure
as
that's not a
Mish
bit?
Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, A Lonely Dragon Wants to Be Loved, a follow-up. That doesn't have a release date currently other than 2025.
It's really
Next
fun
on
for
our
me
list,
trying to spell this for you, so I put this in my list.
number 9, Avatar, Fire and Ash. Number 8, The Naked Gun. Number 7, Mortal Kombat 2. Number 6, from the world of John Wick, Ballerina?
I'm not sure why a couple of those were questions.
Question mark?
But
Well, you know, they didn't explain to me whether or not that was a question. I don't know. Is she a ballerina? Maybe.
is she from the world of John Wick?
Don't know yet.
You know.
Possibly. Keanu Reeves was in the trailer.
I surprisingly
starting off
understood
with
the
number
titles
10.
of most of those.
You have what?
I surprisingly understood the titles of most of those.
Only one, yeah. And that one was Kobayashi-san Chi no Maid Dragon Samishi Garia no Ryu, which is the theatrical follow-up to the second season of Kobayashi-san Chi no Maid Dragon S, which was the anime series released in 2021. This is our continuing journeys of Toru, Kobayashi's Maid Dragon. This movie will feature Kana Kamu, who is a young dragon whose dad might not love her, and we're going to see if we can get this dad to love her. This was already obviously covered in the manga, which this is an adaptation of. This movie will be directed by Tatsuya Ishihara, who we all know has worked previously as a director on the other Dragon Maid animes. He was, of course, also key animation and supporting staff on the Violet Evergarden movie, and also has worked as a director for Sound Euphium. So I'm pretty excited about this one, obviously. The animation studio is also outside of Dragon Maid. They also did Free, which is the very popular boy swimming anime, which I know we all know and love. So we're all real excited about that. I've been reading the manga, so I'm pretty far ahead of where this is movie-wise, but I'm pretty excited still to see what it comes out. And as we all know how this is, it'll probably get like a 3-day US release at some point over the next year, as a Fathom Events thing.
Okay. You said that one does not have a release date?
Other than 2025, it does not.
Okay.
Avatar, Fire and Ash, which was number 9, is December 19th, 2025. And this one's on the list mostly because I wanna know what happens if you just keep saying yes to a crazy person.
Well, they pretty much supposedly greenlit, what, like 5 of them total right now? So this is number
Correct.
3?
3.
Yeah.
Ian, what did you think of the last one, the water one?
I didn't like it. I have not liked any of the Avatar movies. It's something about it that, why won't anyone tell him to stop? Why isn't anyone saying, stir, you have a problem? These aren't that good. They just keep letting him do it. This was supposed to come out in 2015. That was the original Avatar 3 release date.
Wait, so it's
coming out 10 years later.
So why is this making your list?
Because the fact that they're still doing it, I just have to, it's like knowing about it on the human record that they're letting a man do this repeatedly. They keep giving him money to make Dances with Wolves.
And that's enough for you to want to go see it?
I mean, I fucking love that they're just like, fuck it. Here's $250 million, do some weird shit no one likes.
Well,
no one ever.
So
does anyone talk about watching Avatar? No. No one talks about it after they see it. But yet they break records. I don't understand it. It makes no sense to me.
I know.
I literally don't like them. I'm going to see
all I remember about the second movie is that in the first movie, they were using their thing for fucking on horses, and in this movie, they were using them on seahorses or fish or something.
Yeah, they joined a new clan, as we all know. Jake Sully, who fell in love with Netria and befriended the Na'vi after becoming part of the Avatar program, and eventually took their side in the conflict with the humans and transferred his mind into his avatar permanently. His family has now left the Omataki clan and joined the Metakanyan clan, which is a water clan. So this one's called Fire and Ash. We're going to meet the Fire clan, and it's basically like Avatar, but not this. We're talking about the Airbender, where there's the Fire Nation. So this is the one where the Fire Nation.
Is this all
attacks.
just the origin stories of like, or is it the future of the Avatar movies, or is it like an origin story, or?
Oh, so yeah, they are related. So Jake is actually the Avatar.
Oh.
As we all know from Avatar the Airbender, the main character is the Avatar, which is reborn constantly throughout time. It's like a Buddhist message.
So one thing I want to point out, though, is... Oh, sorry, go ahead. I thought you...
No, that's it.
Okay. One thing I just wanted to mention is that during your little rant about how you don't know how they're still making these movies, how they're letting them do all this stuff, how they make that much money, in the same breath, you're like, I hate it, I don't want to see it, but I'm going to go see it. That's how it's going to make money. It's everybody like that.
Yeah, I know, but I don't get it. Like, I know why I'm weird. I don't know why... rest of America. I didn't think the rest of America did this. Otherwise, I wouldn't have waited 3 years to get the Kobayashi-san sequel, Brian.
Okay.
Moving on, we have next The Naked Gun. I've seen and like the original. I didn't know they were remaking it, and I was like, wow, that sucks shit that they're gonna remake this movie because Hollywood's crazy. They don't have real ideas. I just saw a remake of a 1922 silent film last night, and now you're telling me they're remaking The Naked Gun. I had zero interest, and then I saw Liam Neeson's in it, and now I'm all in. He is surprisingly funny. I didn't know how comedic he could be, so I really think he can do this role well, because he has that, like, you know, he has that earned badass action movie reputation, but he's also Liam Neeson, and he's very funny. And maybe Key and Peele will get to do something with him in this movie because it's jokes. So I'm really excited for it to see what they do.
Key and Peele making the movie?
Is there a trailer?
No, they're not currently involved in any way.
Okay.
But I meant
you just
like
want them to be
showing up in it. You know,
Okay.
like cameo.
That's just something that
Pamela
he's hoping
Anderson
for.
is listed as number 2. Pamela Anderson's number 2 on the call sheet currently. So
I feel like I remember this being announced. I don't think there's a trailer, Josh, to your question.
Well, so that's
yeah.
that's kind of where I'm going. So how do you what are you basing Liam Neeson's comedic chops on? Because I've barely
just
ever
his
seen
career. I feel like he's funny. He's been in stuff that I feel like he's done stuff where I'm like, that's a funny man. I'm thinking about The Mission, Excalibur. We all remember his comedic callbacks in the erotic thriller Chloe. I think Taken's just full of comedy.
So see, I remembered that
think...
Naked Gun 33 1/3. The lead female star was Anna Nicole Smith. When you said it was Pamela Anderson in this one, I was like, oh wait, wasn't she in the other one? It wasn't her. It was Anna Nicole Smith. But
33 1/3 was so bad it barely made feature film runtime. It was like an hour and 10 minutes.
Really? Hold on.
It was really short. But looking at this cast list, also has Paul Walter Hauser, Kevin Durand, Danny Houston, Cody Rhodes, the wrestler.
The American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes!
I mean...
And you didn't even mention the best one.
Oh, Busta Rhymes.
It's Busta! Busta Rhymes is back!
Any bets on whether Busta Rhymes makes a joke about loving kung fu movies or kung fu? Because that's pretty much everything he brings up in every movie he's ever been in.
Yeah, and he's gonna rap very fast at one point.
So wait, is Akiva Schaffer... Real quick, is Akiva Schaffer part of the Lonely Island group?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's the writer and director.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's another reason I'm excited. I'm a fan of some of the Lonely Island stuff. Obviously not all of its hits, but...
So I don't know if anybody's seen the clip on... I think it probably circulated on YouTube a little while, but it was from a faux documentary type thing with Warwick Davis that was on HBO years ago called Life's Too Short.
Yes.
Followed him as he's going through stuff. But there's a bit in there in the second episode where he goes to see Ricky Gervais. Ricky Gervais and Stephen Merchant sit with Liam Neeson and they go through this whole improv comedy thing. It's 5 minutes of just Liam Neeson being this straight guy trying to do improv comedy that I think is fucking hilarious. And if he brings that to Naked Gun, I'm in. That's enough of an example for me to be like, yep, he can do this.
That's fair, because maybe he doesn't need to be funny. He actually needs
He's the straight
to be
guy.
the serious one in an utterly ridiculous situation, but unaware of
with stupid shit happening around him. Yeah, that was Leslie
He's the
Nielsen.
guy that has to say nice beaver.
Yeah.
Obviously, next, Mortal Kombat 2, the first film of the current Mortal Kombat franchise, was surprisingly good. I was
wasn't bad.
amazed that it wasn't the worst, especially when they decided to create an original character for the movie to self kind of insert the audience into and to get a lore exposition dump on them. So I'm excited for the sequel to see what happens. I think they're bringing back almost everyone for the most part, so I'm excited to
Who's
see how they
alive?
do it. And it's true. Well,
Who made
actually,
it?
it's
Carl
Mortal
Urban,
Kombat.
I think, is Johnny Cage,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Carl Urban, yeah.
Yeah.
Which I'm
So
surprised
that could be cool.
that one specific casting is like interesting to me and fun, but I'm actually very surprised that they went as that they didn't go younger, I'll say, in the casting.
Yeah.
They went for
Yeah.
someone of Carl Urban's like current age, but I mean if he can if he can kind of pull off I've never seen Carl Urban in a really good like hand-to-hand combat, great choreography fight in a lot of his
Mhm.
movies. So if
Well,
he
you never
could
seen
pull
Doom?
off Doom?
He fights The Rock in Doom. At the end of Doom,
Oh,
him
that
and The
was
Rock
him.
go hand to hand.
Well, that's fair. I guess I also mean like maybe in a more like stylistic like martial arts kind of way because like Johnny Cage is a martial artist, like he's a fighter like that. So I'm hoping he can like make me believe that.
Yeah, because the only other fight I can think of him in off the top of my head is the one in Red. Doesn't he fight Bruce Willis? Which isn't like to Josh's point, choreographed kung fu or anything. That's just throw someone around the office, fight.
Yeah. So, but I mean, I have no
Nonetheless,
doubt
as
he
far
can
as-
pull off the conceited douchebag.
As far as age goes, the standard love interest for Johnny Cage is always Sonya Blade. She's 16 years younger than him, but it's like he's 52, she's 36, so it's a little awkward, you know. But not
Yeah, that's
terribly.
Hollywood,
Not like if she was 26. You know what I mean?
No, I get it. She's a little old for the role.
Although I look at things like I think her name is Tati or Tati Gabriel. She was on Sabrina. She's one of the sisters. She was cast as Jade, which I think is fantastic casting. And I don't know if I remember this before, that Jeremy Slater is one of the writers, and I think he did a fantastic job with the Moon Knight series. So all right,
okay.
maybe
Yeah.
this will. I was not that I wasn't a fan of the first one, but I was underwhelmed by what I wanted it to be. So I'm hoping, not thinking this is going to be bad, but I'm just hoping it exceeds my expectations.
Also of note for Tati Gabriel is she's about to be very popular in I don't know, whenever the hell this next game comes out from Naughty Dog. She is I guess, hey, Brian, if you don't know who she is, you watched the Game Awards, I'm assuming. Or at least
Yeah.
you saw the big trailer at the end from Neil Druckmann's next game. She's going to be the
Galactic.
yeah.
Right.
She's the person playing the lead role in that, or at least in the trailer.
Okay.
She is the person
Yeah.
in the lead role.
And then just to finish it off, so that Mortal Kombat 2 is October 24th, 2025, and June 6th, 2025, from the world of John Wick, Ballerina. I don't think I need to explain this one. I'm just hoping they don't fuck it up, I guess, or that they still have something in the tank, and that they can do it without Keanu.
It's not without
spin-off wise,
Keanu.
I
He's
guess
in
we'll
it.
see. Yeah.
Well, I mean, but he's not. I don't think like in it. Like he's pretty low on the call sheet. Is I guess my point.
Yeah.
Like I don't
Yeah.
think he's. If he has more than 3 minutes, I'll be surprised.
Yeah, I think he's just there
I
to
agree.
tie where she fits into the universe. Like, who is she to him?
I
or
honestly
how
think
does
he's-
she fit in relation to the characters?
I honestly
that we
thought he
know
was
from
there
him?
so he could be in the trailer.
Could be.
I feel like that's why he's in the
Just
movie. So
like-
they show him in the trailer.
Just to sell it.
Connective
Yeah, be like,
tissue.
that's so weak. That's why John Wick's on the thing. That's him. That's John. John
Yeah.
Wick.
I am happy about this because this was on my list last year, and they ended up delaying it an entire freaking year. And I was, I probably like you guys, I'd heard about this for like the last 2 years, at least 2 to 3 years, and then so they gave us the 2024 date, and then they delayed it like a month or two before release. It was not that far in advance. They kicked it way back. So hoping this one holds.
Yeah, and I mean we of course have returning favorite, probably one of the best actors anyone has ever known because he works so closely with so many legends. But Norman Reedus is going to be in this, so.
You talking about Kojima?
that.
Yeah, he works with this amazing visionary named
and
Kojima.
We'll get to say goodbye to Lance Reddick. You know, like it's a last chance to see that amazing dude one last time. Will be nice.
Oh, and it was filmed in Prague, which is a beautiful city. So I'm excited.
Alrighty, you want to go for your top 5?
Oh shit, is that how we do this? Okay, fuck. Yeah. I thought we did everyone's bottom 6 and then we came back to me.
No. We'll go through your full list.
Oh, fuck yeah. Are you ready?
Okay.
I'm not. Number 5, Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning. Number 4, Superman. Number 3, Maha Shoujo Modeka Magica Walpurius no Kaiten.
All I got was no Kaiten.
Maha Shoujo, that's magical girl.
Mojo Jojo?
Modeka, that's her name. Magica, that's magic again.
When we go through your list again and repeat
Walpurgis,
stuff, I'm just going to say,
no
Ian, what was
Kaiten.
number 10? And then I'm going to go, Ian, what was number 3? And you can just read it for me.
Number 2, Mickey 17. Number 1, Lupin the Third, the movie, provisional title.
Is that literally part of the title? Is provisional title?
Yeah, they announced it on Twitter as Lupin the Third, the movie, provisional title.
I don't know if that was
it's
like
coming out in
parentheses
2025.
bracket, like the working title or unofficial title right now.
Well,
like, this is a placeholder.
In Japanese, yes. I mean, they didn't write that in English, but they did write that in Japanese. So, according to Google Translate, that is what it said, yes, that it's a provisional title. So starting off with number 5, Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning. As fans of the podcast know, I was on a journey to see them all, and I conquered the mountain known as Tom Cruise, and I counted the man's runs. The man has the runs, and he's got them bad, and we're here for number 8, the 8th runs movie.
You're not wrong about that.
I think that's 8.
This is 8. I don't know. I'm kind of excited just to see. I'm honestly, part of my excitement is to see if they actually like close the door on this for like, let's say 20 years. If it's actually like they have to actually bring it back. I have my concerns that this will have another one in like 4 years.
The quest
I'm
for
curious
more
what
money.
the final. I'm curious what this is. If I remember right, AI's involved, and AI has been weirder since the last movie. I know they shot these back to back, so I don't know if they're gonna play into any modern stuff with that. But I am kind of curious how that goes. And this is the 4th one with this director. Is that right, Brian?
He did Rogue
I
Nation,
think 5th.
Fallout, and then these 2. So at least 4.
I think we're forgetting
So
one.
obviously,
Forgetting
Ghost Protocol?
Ghost Protocol was
Brad Bird.
Brad Bird.
That's right. Yeah.
the second one. The second one.
Second one was John Woo.
Woo woo woo. Yeah.
You knew the answer to that.
He just baited you. All of us, really.
Remember those
Like, I'm
fucking
being
dumps?
quizzed. I know the answer to that.
So yeah, I'm really excited to see where they go, and they kind of write it off. I assume because this is the last one, Tom Cruise is going to make some ridiculous demand that he, I don't know, jumps off, or he like bounces around the insides of George Washington's nose in the Mount Rushmore, and then like launches out of the nose into something to then like go to space. I don't know. And I will answer now, yes, there will be a plot helicopter. Superman. They did my boy bad. They killed the Snyderverse. We're all still pissed about it. I'm fuming. But I'm gonna see this just so I can say to everyone, this wasn't as good as Man of Steel. Because
The trailer wasn't as good as
no,
Man
the
of Steel?
movie. That's why I'm seeing it.
Okay.
Because Zach Pride worldwide. Let's see if DC's gonna pretend they got anything. I feel like we've learned the Marvel format's kind of dead. At least it's not nearly as successful as it was. So I'm curious if DC's gonna, for like the 3rd time, try and replicate the Marvel formula that doesn't seem to work anymore, or if James Gunn's actually if James Gunn has been empowered to try something different. I am concerned that he is not.
So your excitement for this movie is solely based around
spite.
Yeah,
spite.
Just being able to tell people about how great Zack Snyder was.
Being a contrarian, yeah.
Well, and honestly, Henry Cavill is Superman. Like, literally. I don't, like, how do you fuck that up? Like, the man literally looks like Superman.
They fucked him up as Geralt, too, so it's fine.
He's a fantastic actor. Yeah, I know. He loves the Witcher material. You have the perfect person for the role who loves the material, and yes, bury me.
So
Snyder.
Are they going to fuck up
bury
Warhammer
our
too
whole
with
verse?
Him? Is that? Do we think that's?
Yeah, we're 40K. He's going to be the God Emperor. We're all good. Blood for blood God. So I'm pretty excited for Superman, also because maybe there'll be good Cape franchises. As everyone knows, I haven't watched anything past Endgame other than Guardians 3 and something else that I don't remember the name of that Brian made me watch. Probably, I guess Deadpool and Wolverine counts.
Yeah,
I guess that's an MCU movie.
It is.
Number 3, Maha Shoujo Modeka Magica wa
I got
Buddhist no
Superman stuff to
Kaiten.
say. Wait.
I said the title. Go ahead.
Oh man, then you said so many things and now I forget.
Superman.
I'm sure Superman will be on other people's lists.
It'll come up.
We want to come back to it, Josh.
No. I want to sit here in silence while I think about it. Hang on. No,
use up more of my time. Puella Magi, Modeka Magica, the movie, Walpurgis Rising.
I got none of that.
Just send them a link. Just send them a link.
The 10th anniversary of the Modeka Magica anime revealed that we're getting a new film, a sequel to the film that last opened in 2013. So it's been 11 years and we're finally getting a sequel. I'm very excited for this. This is, of course, made by the legendary Shaft Studios, who outside of Modeka Magica are also known for the Monogatari series, which has also been going on for a very long time and is my favorite anime series. So obviously I'm a big fan. They're bringing back Miyamoto Yukihiro is the director. He obviously also works on a lot of Shaft projects, so he was also the unit director on the Kaizu Monogatari movies we all remember and saw at the Hollywood Theater in Dormont. We all saw all 3 of those there. He's also an episode director for the most recent Monogatari season for a couple episodes, so I'm really excited to see what he brings. Shaft is known for their crazy visuals and really kind of pushing the bar on what you can do with animation. One of the things they do a lot with Modeka Magica specifically is bringing in like real images, like almost like manipulating with like a Photoshop or After Effects or whatever movies use to manipulate the images to make it blend in with the anime. So like enemies they'll fight will be based on like a picture of an actual grandfather clock. It's hard to describe because it's such a visual medium. It's almost something you need to experience, and I think that's the perfect way to describe these films. They're an experience. Yes, you're following around magical girls, but it's a deconstruction of the magical girl genre of what if Sailor Moon had to die at the end of being Sailor Moon, in a respect, because that was the price she had to pay to get those powers. And that price you pay, that death, is how someone else's planet is powered. And what does that bring? And then the other element of this is a time travel aspect where the one girl's trying to find the one universe where our main character, Modeka, doesn't die. And it's a very important franchise to me because it meant a lot to me. And I think it helped me deal with a lot of feelings and issues, I think, just about sense of belonging and stuff. And I'm really excited for it. And I can already tell from looking in the eyes of these other glass-eyed gentlemen in the room here that they're also going to see this with me day one. No release date, Brian.
Okay. That was going to be my question.
I knew.
The problem with seeing all these with you day one is there's so much stuff we'd have to catch up on to get what's happening in the movie. You know, so many of these things you bring up I've never heard of before, and it's like there's a whole laundry list of homework that I would have to do in order to like want to go see this. And I feel like that's the issue with a lot of anime for me is like it's why I stick to like new anime if I'm gonna watch anime, new titles, because catching up on so many years of content, I can't.
And I think that's become the issue with Marvel and maybe like some Hollywood stuff in general is at this point, if someone hasn't seen Marvel movies, what do you do if you want them to go see one?
Show them Iron Man and say, there you go, man.
And you just hope that hooks them for like 30 more movies and then like
how many
3 years from now. But I mean, like, if you want them to see something new, you're talking like 4 years from now, you'll be able to see a movie with me.
Yeah, I get Ian's point. Yeah, it's a tough barrier to entry now. Because yes, you can hook them with Iron Man, but it's like, okay, I want to see this new thing. Okay, well, slow down. You got 30 other movies between now and this new thing.
I feel like you could give them a list of the hits. You know, I mean, there's some Marvel movies you could skip.
That's still required viewing. You can't just go to the theater, to Ian's point, to see the hot new thing.
Well, when they keep remaking and making all sequels, that's Hollywood's thing now.
Fair.
But yes, you do have to do homework. And that's the problem.
And like I said, I think that's not just no longer an anime only problem. That's now more of a greater Hollywood problem with, like, I have to see like 4 fucking movies to see the Pooniverse assemble.
No,
absurd.
Two. There's only
no, because the Peter Pan one comes out before it.
Oh, is that part of the Pooniverse?
So at least, yeah.
I didn't know that was going to be part of the Pooniverse. I thought the Pooniverse was just like Pooh and friends.
No, it's all of the characters that are public domain now that they're making horror movies about.
The public domain horror thing you're talking about?
So Winnie the Pooh, Peter Pan, others.
Steamboat Willie.
I don't remember. They're making horror movies for all of them, and they've literally called it like Poohiverse Assemble. It's like their Avengers movie, which they've called it their Avengers movie. Hollywood is crazy. Mickey 17, number 2. I'm gonna keep thinking this is a Disney movie. When I saw the trailer, Robert Pattinson. This is a movie about clone. Watch the trailer. Robert Pattinson sees himself because it's another clone, and I was like, this is just like the movie Moon. Spoilers for Moon. Eat shit.
So, fun fact, Mickey 17 was on Andy's list last year, and it got delayed.
Yeah.
My list is mostly just Andy's list.
I don't see any of these anime on Andy's list from last year.
I said mostly. Does anyone else have Mickey 17 stuff, or I'm going to just yell the last one out?
Let's go for it.
I think it looks really interesting. I'm excited for it because it's from the guy that made Parasite, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, which I loved, and it's I think the first movie he's done since then, so it's been about 4 or 5 years. Parasite was absolutely fantastic, and I would say a scarier movie than Alien. Number 1 on my list, Lupin the Third, the movie, provisional title, no release date. It is the 4th movie in the Lupin the Third series of films, which of course started with the anime series Lupin the Third, A Woman Called Fujiko Mine, which was an anime about Lupin, the master criminal thief. You may have heard of him. There's been a lot of Lupin. It's kind of a public domain character at this point. It's based on some ancient thief, but it's basically a really lucky thief that everyone loves and is very handsome and just like me in that sense.
You're a thief?
What part, the handsome or the thief?
Yeah, so he's very cool like me, and we hang out all the time. Obviously, Lupin's been around since like the 60s. There's been a lot of anime. They used to air on Adult Swim, like this old 70s dubbed cartoon. These films are more of adult in the sense that they're more adult themes, more like sex and violence, drinking. There's always drinking and drugs, and these drugs, I mean tobacco, in these movies, which, you know, kids are allowed to see because they know they can't smoke. They're not as cool as Lupin, so it's fine. But these ones have been a little more adult and dealing with themes such as sexual abuse and stuff, and they've been a really good set of films. The last one to come out, the 3rd film, was in 2019. That was Fujiko's Lie. So this is possibly our last one. And obviously, you know, it's going to be 6 years later. So maybe it is just time to end it. And then this is our director, Takashi Koike, I think one of Brian's favorites. Outside of Lupin the Third, he also did key animation on 3 episodes of the Iron Man anime. He did key animation on the Trigun Badlands Rumble. He did key animation on Samurai Champloo. He's worked as an animation director on the Animatrix, and he worked on the Afro Samurai pilot. So you know it's going to be a good time. And the studio is also outside of Lupin, because they mostly do a lot of Lupin stuff. They also did the Tower of God anime, which was pretty popular if you're into that scene.
I think I found the movie listed on IMDb, and it lists a writer as somebody named Monkey Punch.
That is the original creator of Lupin, the manga.
Okay.
That's who so it would be characters based upon Monkey Punch's Lupin the Third.
Okay.
Yeah, he has a great name. And he draws himself as a monkey-like guy, which I like.
That punches.
A lot of manga artists draw themselves as like little fictional like characters. The self-insert at the end of their like, you know, when it's like an epilogue or like about the author kind of thing to like tell you how the making of the book went. They'll like draw themselves as like a little monkey guy or something, which I always find fun.
I mean, it's very convenient for him that his name it's just so well lended to drawing, you know.
That's true. A monkey that punches. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I almost made a Logan Paul joke, but I didn't.
And then you brought the name up anyways.
All right, so we got Ian's 10. Ian, one more time. Just roll through your whole 10.
Number 10, Kobayashi Sunshi no Maid Dragon Samishi Gariga no Ryu. Number 9, Avatar Fire and Ash. Number 8, The Naked Gun. Number 7, Mortal Kombat 2. Number 6, From the World of John Wick, Ballerina. Number 5, Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning. Number 4, Superman. Number 3, Mahashoujo Modeka Magica wa Paris no Kaiten. Number 2, Mickey 17. And coming in at number 1, Lupin the Third, the movie provisional title.
I should have just read them myself. That was
you should have
progressively louder.
Yeah, I can see it on my bars. It's maxed out.
Yeah, we heard about maybe a third of that in Discord. So
I'm really excited to hear that back.
Dear Lord. All right, moving on for Josh's 10 through 6. Whenever you're ready.
Well, I am really not gonna live up to the showmanship of especially how that ended, but yeah, we're just gonna continue. Number 10 on November 21st. We are, for all intents and purposes, just consider this Wicked Part 2. I think it's called Wicked, for Good. A week before that, I really hope this finally comes out. November 14th, Now You See Me 3. At number 9. Beginning of May, May 2nd, at number 8 is Thunderbolts asterisk, which is exactly what I'm going to call it until I understand what the hell that asterisk is for. It is part of the official title. So it is Thunderbolts asterisk. Starting the year off early, January 17th, we get another Universal Monsters remake in The Wolfman. And first overlap is May 23rd, Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning at number 6. I think the first part of Wicked was an honorable mention for me last year for anticipated, and it just came out a month ago. I wouldn't necessarily say it was like one of my favorite movies ever. Like I was entranced with it, but in terms of how that movie was shot and the production of it, it was just really damn well put together. Like I don't think anyone can deny that. So it's hitting at number 10 because I want to see the conclusion. I know I'm much more familiar with the stage adaptation version of the story as opposed to the novel. But if what from like a cinematic experience was presented to me the first half, I'm really, really excited to see how it ends up. I'll pause for thoughts.
I mean, I didn't see Wicked, so I have nothing to contribute for this one.
Did you think it was concerning that they didn't seem to market it as 2 movies with the first one?
A little bit, but when I don't even know if I might have even said it when we recorded last year. I might have even said Wicked Part 1 at the time, because when it first started getting write-ups in like 2022, 23, it was very clearly talked about as a 2-part film. And then once official trailers started coming out in the summer of this year, the Part 1 went away. Even on IMDb, like nothing was calling it Part 1 anymore. And I brought it up to Sarah and I said, did she hear anything about maybe they changed course and just decided to condense it into like one longer movie? And she said, no, and I'm pretty sure they did, is everyone got like sick and tired of movie fatigue, or like the idea of waiting, 2 or 3 years for the second half of a movie, a la Mission Impossible. So she thinks they just intentionally took it off all the marketing so that people wouldn't know that ahead of time. And it was sort of like walking into Dune a few years ago. Like, it was just called Dune until you see the title card in the opening and it says Dune Part 1. And you're like, oh shit, okay. So I think they just did the same thing. Was it maybe a little dishonest? Yeah, perhaps. On a grand scale of the world, does it matter? Not freaking at all. I don't remember the back half of the story as much as the front half. So, in terms of making like a 4.5 to 5 hour experience for both of these parts, because the first one was like 240. I hope the second half is honestly, like, if it's going to be that long, it's got to be a lot of action. If it has as much like exposition and story establishment and world establishment as the first half does, it's going to be a really long 2.5 hours. But as I said, just from like a production standpoint, with the practical effects and the practical sets that they pulled off in this thing, to the degree of how gorgeous this thing looks and how real it looks, I'm here for the second half. I have high hopes.
Will we get to see how the Lollipop Guild is made?
Again, I'm more familiar with the stage production that might be in the novel, but
I assume they were clones like Palpatine.
Somehow, Palpatine returns.
Guild has returned.
Somehow, the Lollipop Guild is formed.
Always, they're lurking in the shadows. Always. I mean, I can't say no, but I don't recall that being a central point of the back half of the story. Although,
how long was the stage play?
It was slightly on the longer side of stage productions, but still within maybe like a 2.5 hour mark.
Okay, so
they'd have like an hour,
basically double.
Nearly. Now, I will say, just as a commentary, real quick on the first half, they easily could have chopped 20 to 25 minutes from this first half, but I'd say that would have been about the limit. I mean, going from what you can present on a stage versus a movie, the sky's the limit on a movie at this point. So there wasn't, there were points and scenes that they stretched. There wasn't a whole lot of additional needless plot stuff that they made up to throw into it or whatnot. So I think they just could have trimmed the fat, but I think it's a really good, solid, like 210, 215 movie. There's a version of that exists. Or should exist, at least. You could get it down to that. Any other thoughts?
I just want to make sure we cover some of your other stuff too.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff you got on there. I am also excited for Now You See Me 3. If, like you said, if that movie releases, I've seen nothing about it other than, hey, it's announced and we're doing it.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Spoiler, it made my honorable mentions. It didn't make my list, but it is one that I got my eye on. Because the other two were just stupid fun.
Yeah, they're just fun movies.
They were. And I think the first one's a bit better. It's a bit tighter than the second.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
But the first one is just, and not to be like a pun or whatever, like, it's magical fun. Like, it just plays with your head all as it goes through, but it is just like little kid fun of this like real world serious thing happening, but just with magic and misdirection and everything else. It's a good time. So I've been hoping they would at least make a trilogy and kind of round it out for years, and I hope that it's finally coming around.
At least from what I'm seeing, I think the major players are back. Well, as far as cast list, Ruben Fleischer is listed as director, so he did Venom,
right?
Zombieland, Uncharted, Gangster Squad. I don't know what else is kind of in his repertoire that people would recognize. He's got a running list of stuff with Jesse Eisenberg, so that brought him to it. But I mean, every one of these movies has a different director. I think the first one was Louis Leterrier from like the transporter guy that did Incredible Hulk. I had to look up the second one. I think John M. Chu was the second one, and now Ruben Fleischer on the third. So we'll see. I mean, hopefully they found a story to try to do something with, but I'm gonna see it regardless. So I'm anxious for a trailer.
Like, because it's a 9-year like difference. I know a couple of my movies are like that, but they're animated. Do you think that'll?
I feel like there was a gap between the first and second one too, but I don't think it was that
long. It wasn't that long. I think it'll hurt its revenue. I think it'll hurt how much money they can make from it, but I don't think it'll affect the quality.
Is it bad that every time I hear this title, I keep thinking it has babies in it because I think it's Look Who's Talking?
That's a franchise they're going to reboot at some point. So
Ed Helms.
Oh.
Yeah, he's going to be one of the babies.
Moving up the list over to Thunderbolts. I mean, I finally want to see this. I think it's just going to be fun. I'm not taking my MCU all that serious anymore, but it's just good entertainment for me. I'm whatever, like 36 chapters in or whatever the hell we are now. Like, I'm not bailing out. And this doesn't look terrible to me, and I'd like to see a Suicide Squad-esque team-up type thing with these guys. So, yeah, happy to see that. I'll give it a second to Wolfman. Ever since Lee Whannell delivered The Invisible Man almost 5 years ago, and I was, told that he was going to continue with the Universal Monster reimaginings, I was on board. I've been wanting to see this for a couple of years. I've been waiting for it. I like the trailer, and it doesn't look anywhere as, traditional basic werewolf movie in a way. I always go to bat for a 2010 version of Wolfman with Benicio del Toro and Anthony Hopkins and Emily Blunt. I actually just bought it at a thrift store for a couple of bucks like a month ago. Finally, that version is really damn good, legitimately. But I'm really excited to get the updated interpretation of what these could be, because The Invisible Man was incredible, I think. And I don't have much to add to Mission Impossible from Ian's list. Just that sort of the same thing. I wonder, like, this does have all the hallmarks of at least the 30-year journey of Ethan Hunt with Tom Cruise actually coming to an end, as opposed to like 4 years from now, like he said, oh look, the team is back and there's another thing. Like I think this has got to be it. I don't think he can do it.
I feel like
anymore.
they had talked about going to like 10 or 11 Mission Impossible movies. Now that talk has died down since they agreed to do Dead Reckoning Part 1 and 2 back to back and do it that way. So maybe this could be it, but it's one of those, I think I'll believe it when I see it. Like, unless Ethan Hunt dies at the end of a movie, I'm expecting to see another one.
But does that count because he's wearing a mask?
Yeah, I guess those types of movies, I guess, you'd make another one and just, oh, look, it's not him.
They need to kill someone and then pull the mask off and reveal it was actually Ethan. That way, the mask is already off, unless it's a double mask situation.
Well, I also need to see in his phone whether or not he was tasting goods recently.
True.
Oh, dear Lord.
Does he taste the goods?
Oh, he's tasting them in this movie. You know it.
All right, Josh, you want to go for your top 5?
Yeah, top 5. June 20th, I will be there opening night 28 years later. This looks great. I love the cast. I'm like not necessarily entirely shocked that they finally did it, because it makes sense. They did 28 days, 28 weeks. But like, you talk about gaps between movies. This has been a long time.
They skipped months, and I'm not happy about that.
Because it would sound weird. Nobody says 28 months.
Who says 28 weeks?
I do now.
Because of the
Talking
movie.
about babies.
They could have made it a thing.
But yeah, June 20th. So excited for that. Number 4 for me is Ballerina. That was on, I think that was on my list last year at number 6, if I'm looking at it right. And like I said before, you delayed me a year, and now I wanted even more, so it moved up a bit. The last 3, honestly, pretty predictable for me, but you know what? It's fine. I just want to be entertained anymore. I'm really looking forward to Captain America: Brave New World. As I said, with my sort of MCU, like the way it's positioned anymore, just give me entertainment in a way. But I think ever since Falcon and Winter Soldier, I've really wanted to see the next step of Sam in, the Captain America position. And with everything that's associated with this that we've seen and heard about, I just want to finally see it, because this was another one that had nearly like a year delay. I think it was originally supposed to be out like March of 24, and it got pushed back a couple of times. So, number 2 for me, November 7th, is Predator: Badlands. I don't know in my head if this is sort of a continuation of the Prey idea that was a Hulu original type. That was not a theatrical release. This is, I believe. I don't know if it's kind of taking off on that same notion or not, but Prey was so good that Predator is like back up in my top tier of like, what can you give me, because the reimagining of that was just so good. And number 1 for me is July 11th, and number 1 for me is Superman. I think that the recently released trailer really won me over in a lot of ways. I have thoroughly enjoyed James Gunn's creative endeavors the last 10 years, and even before that, going back to Super and Slither and other things. So I think Superman looks great. I'm not sure why they dropped the legacy part of it that was originally part of the title when they made their big slate announcement like a year or two ago. But I think it looks great, and I'm looking forward to it. Has anybody started watching Creature Commandos on HBO? Because I'm wondering, like, I forget if anything else, say, like on HBO is going to be released between now and Superman. And if not, Superman will sort of be the first test of, okay, how much, if any, is, to Ian's point earlier, like, is Warner Brothers going for a, like, fully always connected storytelling device and universe and whatnot? Because everything they announced a year or two ago, they kind of said it's kind of this loose fabric, but an overall arc called, Gods and Monsters, I think. So,
yeah.
Like, Superman will kind of be the test for it if nothing else comes out between. But Superman is number 1.
Gods and Monsters is a comic series. That was a big comic series they did. So
yeah,
no gods, no masters.
I mean, they got monsters. They did, like, Creature Commandos right off the bat has all the monsters. So, and it looks like there's at least one massive monster in Superman that they've shown us so far. So we'll see where things go.
So you watched the trailer, Josh, for Superman?
Yes, I did.
Okay. I wasn't sure if you were going blind or what you were watching.
That's fair given history. No, and not that I've like moved past it, but I think for a lot of new stuff like this, I'm too curious to see what it is. Like I think where all that started with me with the build up of the MCU, that was like after almost 10 years of the MCU, and after like 15, 16 movies at that point, there were certain chapters that the anticipation for what I may have assumed was coming next, like I wanted all of that surprise. I mean, we're dealing with a clean slate, and
yeah,
I kind of reset on that, at least in terms of the DCU stuff.
I would say, like, for me, Superman does make my list, so I'll talk about it more then, but I think the thing that concerns me is that we're getting Lex Luthor again. I know that's kind of Superman's thing, but I feel like audiences are going to go through Lex Luthor fatigue at some point, because it seems like that's all they can do with Superman is just throw Lex Luthor at it and hope for the best, and I don't know how they're going to do it, so I'm not going to say it's going to be good or bad. I just think it could hurt the audience experience seeing yet another person play Lex Luthor. And, there's other Superman stories to be told, so I'm not sure how it's going to go over, but for every bit of me that was concerned about Lex Luthor, I guess it's a trailer. Are we spoilering the trailer? I don't.
I think that's fair game. It's been officially released.
Yeah, so Crypto's inclusion in the trailer, fucking hell. Like, you couldn't have made me more excited for Superman, and it was James Gunn, so I kind of thought, like, maybe we'll get some of that weirder, silly shit you get with Superman, like Crypto, and seeing that show up, that got me excited for this movie much more than it would have without Crypto. If Crypto didn't show up in that trailer, I don't think this makes my list.
That was the moment that when we were watching I watched the trailer first and showed it to Sarah. Not that she wouldn't have cared, but that was the first moment of watching the trailer that she perked up and made some kind of reaction.
Was it because she knew it was Crypto, or was it just dog?
I mean, both. I think she saw a dog, understood what it was.
Oh, well, that's what I was asking. Yeah. I didn't know if Sarah was, like, into Superman lore and understood what Crypto was from... Just, like, as soon as I saw the snow beating up around something in the distance, I was like, that's going to be fucking Crypto, and I was, very excited.
Oh, no, even I didn't understand that, but the moment I saw a white dog, I'm like, oh, Crypto, that's amazing.
Josh, I want to make sure you get to the rest of the stuff on your list, but there is one omission for me that I feel like I could have sworn was going to make your top 10, and it did not. I'm surprised Fantastic Four is not on your list.
It's in honorable mentions.
I figured if it wasn't on the list, honorable mentions would make sense, but...
I'll go further and say there's another omission that shared a release date that is at my number 2, shares a release date with his number 2. I thought we were going to have the same movie, and we didn't.
Let me check my calendar.
No, don't bring it up, because
we'll come back.
The movie I'm talking about hasn't been mentioned yet, so we'll keep it spoilered.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to talk about for your top 5, Josh?
Nope. I'm good there. If Mike has anything to add for 28 Years Later or maybe Predator, but nope, I'm good.
For Predator, I would say this didn't make my list. It is honorable mention. Prey, great. Predators, great, but The Predator, not so great. So it's kind of like, it's been like an ebb and flow, and I feel like we're due for a not great. You know what I mean? Like, we got Predators, good. We got The Predator, not good. We got Prey, good. I feel like we're going back to not good if we're just looking at the history of things. That's kind of how Predator's always gone. 1 good, 2 not. Like, it's just, you get a good one, then a bad one, and a good one, and a bad one.
Can't have more than one Predator.
Yeah. Can't have more than one Predator. Can't have more than 2 good ones, or 1 good one in a row. It's just a thing. So, as far as 28 Years Later, it does make my list. Actually, I'm very excited for it. The first 2 are some of the best, if not the best, zombie movies that have been made. So, getting to check them out again with, a new era, I guess you can say. Like, they were pre-Walking Dead zombie movies, and now we're getting them post-Walking Dead. The Walking Dead kind of changed how audiences feel about those things. And, you're getting everybody back. Well, the major players, you know what I mean? Your director, your writer, your main star, all coming back. And then we're adding in, as far as I understand, just Aaron Taylor Johnson is like the big star. I didn't see.
And you get a sequel already, so that's fun.
I don't know what you mean.
They already announced the follow-up. It's 2 movies.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, they did, but
28 years later, The Bone Temple.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's literally not like 28 decades later or something cool like that. It's just like a subtitled version of it.
The Bone Temple.
So we'll see what that's
it's
about.
2026. They go to the Bone Temple.
But yeah, I'm excited for that too, and it looks like it's gonna be good.
Yeah, I got nothing to add for the zombie movie. Or Predator. I didn't see. I've heard Prey's really good. And
Prey is
I'm sure at some point I will probably watch it, but I have not seen it.
I am a very big Alex Garland fan. I think Ex Machina is one of the finest movies ever produced.
Damn good.
Annihilation was a excellent follow-up. I really
also
enjoyed that. And then Men happened, and I didn't dislike Men, but it's not at the same level of those two, and I don't need to see a man give birth to himself. But I did. I've seen that now.
Spoilers,
that's
but
what happens in Men. I maybe I don't even know anymore. That's just life for me now. men giving birth to themselves. And then Civil War happened, and it's not a bad movie. I'm still hung up on the whole, you said a Civil War film in America, but don't deal with the politics of it. Kind of disappointed me. I get that's not what the movie was about, but I feel like it's a weird thing to avoid. So Alex Garland has been, just the last two movies haven't been as strong for me, so I'm curious, now that he's not behind the director's seat with this one, how that goes for the film. Obviously, he didn't direct any of the other 28 movies, and only really has a writing credit for one of them. But
the original director is back, though. Like that.
Yeah, I just meant that. I just meant like directing wise, Alex Garland's like isn't involved in that. Like so,
right.
For Men in Civil War, it's not as important how you felt about the direction of those movies for this, since it's purely his writing. And yeah, I'm gonna spoil movies that are 2 years old. That like Men gives birth to himself. Yes, Brian, we're gonna watch that next time I come.
No.
That's actually what Mike got you for a Christmas gift. Is the 4K copy of Men.
Yeah.
Burning
Spoilers.
I'll burn
it. I'll show you my figure I have. That's also of that.
Dear Lord, no. Somehow, also, one, it's disgusting. Two, I wouldn't be surprised if you fucking had some sort of figure like that.
It comes with
just so you can show it off to people like me.
It comes with action lube.
No, all right. Let's move on to Mike's number 10, or Mike's 10 to 6, just to get Ian off the topic.
I gotta follow that. All right.
I said lube.
All right. At number 10, Mission Impossible: Final Reckoning. We've talked about that. At number 9, we have Ballerina. We've also talked about that. At number 8, the only one in my first 5 here that hasn't been talked about, Jurassic World Rebirth. Number 7, Superman. And number 6, Captain America: Brave New World. So I'll quickly go. Mission Impossible: Final Reckoning makes my list because I'm glad it's finally going to be over. I hope. See,
I'm not the only one that has these kinds of things on their list.
Well, here's the thing. It's not that they're bad movies. They're good movies, but it's time to pass the buck. Let's get on to something else. You know, like let's end this. Let's end it good. And I don't know. Let something else come through to shine. Tell a new story. You know, I'm all for that. Ballerina. It's the John Wick universe. I don't give a shit about the story. I'm there for the action sequences that are going to be awesome. That's about it. You know, it's going to be good action. I'm all there for it. So I'll skip Jurassic World because I'll spend most of the time talking about that since we haven't yet. Superman. Obvious. I think we just talked about why I'm excited. Crypto's there. James Gunn doing it. Could get kind of weird and fun. I dig it. Captain America.
Are you going to buy the crypto coin?
I don't buy crypto at all, so no. Captain America: Brave New World. If there was a crypto coin I would buy, it would be the crypto. But I'm still no. I'm not gonna get hooked to it. You know, I don't need that. So Captain America: Brave New World. I'm really just excited for getting a new era of this whole MCU to start, and I feel like this is kind of the beginning of that. We're getting another Captain America movie. They're saying it's more of a spy movie again, which is good. Harrison Ford is friggin' Red Hulk. That should be interesting. I don't know if that's going to be good or bad.
Like a geriatric Hulk?
Red Hulk is usually Thunderbolt Ross. So
not geriatric and
yes,
like slowly dying?
Actually, kind of. Like, he's supposed to be old. Okay. Like, it's John Hurt was previously Thunderbolt Ross. He died, so now it's Harrison Ford.
Names that mean nothing.
The guy who was Thunderbolt Ross in the other MCU movies.
Is that a character from the movies?
Yes. He was in The Incredible Hulk. That. He was in Civil War. He was in Endgame. He was in...
I don't remember this at all.
Well...
So what does this have to do with the book Brave New World? That's what I've been wondering.
Smart ass.
I'll tell you after I see it.
So is it tied into the Iron Maiden song Brave New World? But that's also about the book.
All of that is correct, Ian.
Yes.
So just make sure you show up and see it.
Yeah, just keep thinking that. That'll get your butt in the seat.
I mean, did you know they make fun of someone for having... never mind. Cut this. You don't want to know.
I think the Captain America: Brave New World thing is going to be fun. I enjoy Anthony Mackie doing his thing. And Sam is such a fun character to follow. I genuinely love what they've done with Captain America and the Falcon, even if the villains were a little bit wonky in that. The story between Sam and Bucky was really good, so I'm hoping we can continue that momentum, even though it's not exactly momentum all this time later. You get the idea. But
I just realized I want to throw this out because I said it online months ago, but I still think that there's a sporting chance that the asterisk in Thunderbolts is indicative of the fact that the title is not finished. And there is a holdover from Brave New World that fuels a lot of the plot for Thunderbolts.
I mean, it would make sense since like they're originally created by General/President Ross. I guess he's president in this movie. Like they were created in his they were his vision, and the Red Hulk was actually a part of them originally.
And then you're finally getting Red Hulk, and so I think at least in part, the thing that the Thunderbolts have to do is also continue dealing with Red Hulk. Which is, again, why I think the true finished title of the Thunderbolts is Hunt for the Red Hulktober.
I hope so.
That was really good, Josh.
If they don't use that, if no one else on Earth thought of that, I'm not that smart. If I found it, millions of others had to have. And if they don't do that, then they're stupid.
Well, nothing says that's the plot, though. We don't know that that's the plot yet. So
we don't. But that's just my hopeful pitch for coming out of Brave New World, moving into Thunderbolts like 3 months later. So
fair enough. So as far as Jurassic,
when they tell us the title at the end credits.
Oh yeah.
That's how you'll get the closer.
Somebody will return in Thunderbolts. No asterisk with the real title.
We'll punch like the movie poster and it'll reveal like the new title.
Nice.
Yes.
So, to Jurassic World Rebirth, I assume this is going to make Brian's list. We don't know that for sure. He's shaking his head yes, so yeah, that's some confirmation.
Do you shake your head yes?
After nodding, whatever. God, grammar police in a fucking podcast.
Shook his head up and down.
All we have is our grammar. It's audio.
Yeah, but whatever. They got the idea. I said yes. I put the yes with it. They knew what I meant.
So is this a reboot or
no? This is. I don't know if it's directly continuing any thread lines from the last three. This is supposed to start a new trilogy, essentially. And the story sounds like they're trying to track down some dinosaurs to...
No.
Well, no, they're going to an island, a small team, to try and use something from them to cure some disease. I don't remember exactly what it was. I don't think they said.
Dinosaur AIDS.
Starring Scarlett Johansson, which is strange. I don't know whether I like that or don't like it. I would not have expected that when they announced the movie, but I'm there for it. I'm not going to complain about that.
From what I've read, she's in there because she's a fan. She campaigned to be in the movie.
She's a fan of what?
And that usually turns
Jurassic
out well.
Park.
Like Jurassic Park or Jurassic World?
The series.
As far as I know, Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
Because there's a big difference.
What I was going to get to is the plot. Reading what they said as a plot synopsis made it sound much more interesting than what they had done in recent years. Because let's face it, the last two Jurassic Park movies, Jurassic World, I'll stand by. I enjoyed the first of those three.
I like
the
that
second
one.
two. Man, they were kind of disappointing. Like they should have been so much better. They could have been so much better. The second one definitely being the worst of those three. I feel like the third one brought it back a little bit, but not enough. This time, I'm going into this hoping for the best because there's still that kid in me that just goes dinosaurs, and I like it. So we'll see. Any thoughts, Brian? I guess because I assume Josh and Ian aren't too excited about this.
I'm skeptical because of the last couple of efforts.
Yeah, I'm kind of, I am like cautiously optimistic. I guess I'm excited for it. I'm going to see it. It did make my list. When we get there. Um, and yeah, I kind of agree. The last trilogy was hit or miss. There, like I'm with Mike. I think Jurassic World is good. I like that one. I think I've only seen Fallen Empire, or was it Fallen Empire? Is number 2?
Something like that.
Kingdom.
Fallen Kingdom.
You're thinking of Godzilla X Kong, New Empire.
Yeah, they all blend together after a while. Yeah, Fallen Kingdom and Dominion are. I think I've only seen them once. I think at this point, years removed, they kind of deserve a rewatch from me, and I just haven't got there yet. Maybe I'll do that before this one. But either way, hands down, I'm excited. I seeing a trailer may sway me one way or the other.
Yeah.
We don't really have too much to go on other than it's directed by Gareth Edwards. It stars Scarlett Johansson, and that's about all I've got right now. But that's enough for me to get excited.
Gareth Edwards finally got a Jurassic World movie.
Yes.
Yeah. So
wow.
There's potential here for it to be better. And as far as your rewatch goes, rewatch the third one. You don't have to rewatch Fallen Kingdom. Like,
see, I'm almost thinking on a rewatch that I will think Dominion is the worst one of the 3. So that's kind of why I need to check it out.
I think.
Did you see his last film?
Kingdom's better.
Gareth Edwards movie,
Yeah.
Creator.
Yeah, I was not a fan.
Yeah, I expected it to hit me better.
Yeah,
Visually, I think it's really, really cool. I think the universe they built is really, really cool. The plot and characters, I didn't give 2 shits about.
I think the only reason to still watch it is for the sequence where they play the Radiohead song.
I don't think I remember.
It's when they're in the
sequence.
helicopters. It's like during a raid.
Okay.
You would know as soon as you hear it. You would know. Like, oh, I remember everything about this.
The one thing that sticks out for me are the suicide bomber robots. I thought that was the coolest thing in that movie.
Well, you should check out this franchise called Ghost in the Shell.
All right, Mike. Anything to add for your bottom 5?
No, we can move on.
Okay. Your top 5.
So at number 5, same spot as Josh is 28 years later. We talked about that a good bit. Number 4 for me is Mortal Kombat 2. Again, we talked about that. Brian mentioned this one, not showing up on Josh's list. At number 3 is Fantastic Four, The First Steps. Number 2.
I think it's because we don't have anything. If I can't, I think it's because we don't have anything for it yet.
That's fair.
And I don't have much to go by.
They exist.
At number 2, sharing the same date as Josh's number 2 of November 7th, 2025, is The Running Man, directed by Edgar Wright. Should be. I was totally expecting that to be Josh's number 2 when he said November 7th, but it wasn't. And
I don't think I realized he was directing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have it on my calendar, but
that
was it. Huh.
Coming in at number 1, with Christoph Gans returning and bringing his practical effects back to the series after the shit sequel, we are getting Return to Silent Hill. And I will be completely honest about that one. I know that's a surprise. The first of the 2 Silent Hill movies that currently exist is fan-fucking-tastic as a horror movie. The video games themselves are great. The original director is coming back, and he openly shat on the second movie, saying, like, yep, we're bringing our practical effects back from the first movie, too. None of the CGI bullshit.
What was the second one called?
Revelation,
because
maybe?
Return to Silent Hill really sounds like the second one, but
I think the second one was called Revelation. It was just like them trying to cash in on the popularity of the first one. Also, the first one, it's a Sean Bean is Dead movie. You know what I mean? It's a classic. It's got that to it.
That's fair.
So this takes place 18. This is 18 years later.
Yeah.
You know, is that an issue for you?
Why would it be an issue for me?
Is it like related in any way? Because from what I can tell, this Christoph like almost hasn't done anything since Silent Hill, like director wise.
Yeah, and he wanted to come back and do this because he did such a damn good job with the first one.
I almost feel like he's more desperate for work,
or maybe he didn't need to.
I guess
I don't know anything about him. Yeah, I was saying I don't know anything about him as a man. I just know he directed the first one and it was fucking awesome because they had
like the
Go ahead.
Silent Hill has struggled, I think, to keep itself I don't want to say popular necessarily because there's all those freaks out there, but I would say good. I know the most recent remaster of, I believe, the second game was very well received.
Yes.
But I know before that they made that weird mobile game that everyone was shitting on.
Yeah.
And Konami in general has just got a very bad track record.
Yes.
So I think that's probably for me is the hardest part about this is separating it from Konami.
Have you seen the first film?
I mean, I'm gonna say yes, but like I saw it like in 07.
But when it came out, like around the time it came out.
I remember there's fog, and I believe Pyramid Head was in it, but that's like it. That's
all you remember.
Told me there was other stuff in the movie? Nope.
That's fair.
Wouldn't believe you.
That's fair.
That's why I'm asking about this 18 years, just because it still means something, I guess, to you, and I guess it does.
Yeah, for me, it's. Wait, are you saying like the 18-year gap, or are you saying that the movie takes place 18 years later?
Just the gap since the first one. Not, I don't. I'm assuming this is, from what I can tell, they're just doing Silent Hill 2, like the game.
Right.
The plot. That's the plot.
That's what it sounded like to me. That's why I was excited for it. Again, this is also them striking while the iron's hot from the remaster of Silent Hill 2. I think that's a smart choice for them. And it's the best game for them to follow. The story's the best in it. In general, that first one is one of my favorite horror movies. And they so horribly ruined it with the second one that it really stung. So getting to see, again, the original director and practical effect. The practical effects are part of what made that first movie so good. Is because you have Silent Hill known for these grotesque creatures that inhabit Silent Hill without trying to delve too much into lore. And creating them as practical effects was so much more difficult than just CGIing them. Because it's, again, just go back and watch the original if you haven't seen it, and you'll see why. Don't watch this, just don't fucking watch it. But watch the first one, and you'll see why I feel the way I do about this. It's something I did not expect to ever happen, was to get another Silent Hill movie that is hopefully very good, like the first one was. But to speak to other things,
like, is there a release? Is there a release date for that? I don't think I'm seeing it.
It says 2024. That's all I've seen.
So it was due this year?
Or I just wrote that wrong. It's 2025. That's my bad.
Okay.
That's just a typo on my part, and I read it.
Okay.
But I was going to say, to move on to other things on the list, The Running Man. For one, the story of The Running Man is fantastic. Yes, the old Arnold Schwarzenegger movie is actually still okay. It doesn't hold up quite that well, but the story of it is very timely, poignant, relevant to our world today, more so than it was even when they did the Schwarzenegger version of this movie.
Just sorry to interrupt there, but so for me, 2000s reality TV was wild. They had stuff like Megan Wants a Millionaire that had a literal murderer on the show. We were so close in the 2000s to just making The Running Man.
That's true.
We almost got there, I think. We were two. If they didn't find that murderer on Megan Wants a Millionaire, we were getting there within another 3 years.
Well, yeah, and I think if you mash together a few things, like really, The Running Man's just kind of like that plus American Gladiators, and you're home.
You throw in The Challenge?
Yeah. But yeah, we have that coming. It's Edgar Wright, which is always going to get my interest. Edgar Wright redoing this movie, very interesting to me. Fantastic Four, that's there for obvious reasons. I was very skeptical of what they were doing until they announced the cast. And yeah, I'm interested to see what Pedro Pascal can do with Reed Richards, what Vanessa Kirby can do with Sue Storm. I don't really know much about the guy that's going to be playing Thing. I don't, but we're getting.
He's been a pretty solid character actor so far. I think is he on The Bear?
I don't watch. I haven't watched that, so I don't know.
I think I've heard he's been in a ton.
Okay.
But I think the challenge with that character always, even no matter what, like eventually he has to become the Thing.
Yes, and you
which
have
then
to
you
figure out a way to
see that
emote.
person anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How to convey emotions as a pile of rocks is tough.
Right.
But yeah, I'm excited for that. I'm excited to see if we get some sort of intro reveal as to what the hell's going on with Robert Downey Jr. as Doom. Something like that would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
I think they'll just have him holding a large bag with a money symbol on it.
All the money.
Yeah. Yeah. And like
Which
just a
he'll
sign
pay
that says,
Keith
you know, you're going to come
Simmons
watch
for.
this shit because I'm in it. Like,
And then executive producer, just like
yeah. Oh, well, that too, of course.
just the words.
And Mortal Kombat 2's here. They got the whole cast returning from the last one, plus a bunch of new interesting people. Carl Urban, I'm always kind of a fan of. So, like, I want to say Carl Urban hooked me with Doom, probably. That was probably when I, like, that old shitty Doom movie. It's not a good movie, but he hooked me as somebody that I enjoyed watching there. Because, like, yeah, he was cool in Lord of the Rings and stuff, but you didn't really get a lot of time with Éomer. Like, it wasn't like he played a big enough role that you were like, oh, yeah, this is great. So, getting to see him play Johnny Cage, I'm very excited for that. I hope it's not just Billy Butcher in Johnny Cage's clothes, though. To be seen, to be determined. For Brian, that's the character he plays in The Boys, since I know you don't watch that show. Or
I have seen that show up to season 3. I think.
Oh, you actually? I thought you were avoiding it because of the gore. But
it's getting progressively worse. That now I don't know if I feel like finishing it, but I did start it.
Okay, well, then I'm just hoping it's not that, but in Johnny Cage's clothes.
Yeah.
I hope he does something more with it. But
Is he gonna wear a shirt at any point in the movie?
Well, Johnny Cage wears a shirt in modern games.
He shouldn't.
But he does. In modern games, he wears clothing. Like, he's, you know.
It's bullshit.
I'm trying to think, like, the last time he was
a
actually...
vat of oil.
Yeah, I know. I understand what
oil.
you're saying, but I'm trying to remember when Johnny Cage actually put the shirt back on for good. Because there was a game... I'm going to say it was probably 10. Because I know in 9, he was basically just Mortal Kombat 2, Johnny Cage in 9. So it was probably in Mortal Kombat X, Mortal Kombat 10, that he permanently put... Well, not permanently. We don't know what's going to happen next in the Mortal Kombat franchise. But, yeah, he is shirted in the modern games. He's also supposed to be much older, so it makes more sense. Because it's like they introduce his daughter in the games. So, like, it's like him and Sonya's daughter is now fighting in the tournaments, so it makes sense. He's dad bod now. He's no longer Schwarzenegger bod Johnny Cage. He's dad bod Johnny Cage. So, but yeah,
yes. I'll chime in on your top 5 here. The Running Man, I think, for me is a good pick. It's a good pull. I think I saw that on the list. I don't think I realized. All I knew about that was Glenn Powell's in it, and I knew it was the remake of the Schwarzenegger movie. I did not realize Edgar Wright is involved. So that's piqued my interest.
He is directing it, isn't he?
I don't know. If he is, I missed that part completely.
That's what IMDb says currently.
Yeah, he's listed as the director,
writer-director, or just
writer-director, and there's also a credit for Stephen King as writer. I think probably just obviously because he wrote the book, and somebody named Michael Bacall, who I do not know. I don't know that name.
Okay,
I'm looking it up now.
Yeah, I'll be interested.
Michael Bacall was a writer for Inglourious Bastards, Scott Pilgrim, and 21 Jump Street. So
okay,
that's not a terrible list there. Since I know you're a Scott Pilgrim fan, so and I'm an Inglourious Bastards fan and a Scott Pilgrim fan. And 21 Jump Street it's all right. It's not a bad comedy.
Yeah, so I will keep my eye on that one.
Also a writer for Django Unchained. Looks like he did some work with Tarantino there. Because he's got Death Proof, Grindhouse, Inglourious Bastards, Django Unchained. Yeah. So that's cool.
All right. That's Mike's list. I realized I was going to try to go back through Mike's list and just run down his top 10. I realized I don't think I did that for Josh's list because I was too excited to get away from whatever Ian was talking about at the time.
The fuck?
You mean Men, where the guy births himself?
Oh, damn it. Yes, that one.
See, I had to look it up because I wanted to ask if in Jurassic World Rebirth, Chris Pratt gives birth to himself.
Ah.
He's not in the movie, though.
To be determined. To be determined.
True.
I think
Right,
it's
so
an
I'm gonna quickly run
apatosaurus
through
that gives
Josh's
birth
top
to Chris
10.
Pratt, actually.
Josh's top 10 again. So for his number 10, Wicked for Good. Number 9, Now You See Me 3. 8 is Thunderbolt. 7, The Wolfman.
Asterisk.
6, Mission Impossible The Final Reckoning. 5, 28 Years Later. 4, Ballerina. 3, Captain America Brave New World. 2, Predator Badlands. And number 1 was Superman. For Mike's list that we just covered, he has Mission Impossible The Final Reckoning at number 10. Ballerina at number 9. Jurassic World Rebirth at number 8, Superman at number 7, Captain America Brave New World at number 6, 28 Years Later at number 5, Mortal Kombat 2 number 4, Fantastic Four The First Steps number 3, The Running Man number 2, and Return to Silent Hills number 1.
And I would make a note that I didn't make about not Silent Hill, but about The Running Man. You mentioned Glenn Powell starring in the lead roles, Ben Richards. We are getting co-starring Josh Brolin, Lee Pace, Michael Cera, and William H. Macy. So
Who is not the
pretty
clown
good cast.
killer?
I
Who's not the what?
The man who murdered people as a clown because he was a clown.
is that something from the original Running Man, or is,
No, that's
over
William
my head.
Gacy.
oh for fuck's sake. Okay.
Different people.
That's
all right.
his name was Wayne, not William Gacy, by the way. John Wayne Gacy.
John Wayne was also an actor.
It's true.
All right, moving on to my top 10. I'll try to round this shit off so we can be done here.
Hey, it's under 4 hours.
It's true.
Yeah, that's true. All right, so my 10 to 6. My number 10, Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. Number 9, Jurassic World Rebirth. Number 8 is a movie that's not on anybody's list. I saw it in some article online for like Entertainment Weekly's movies coming out in 2025. It's called The Fountain of Youth. Guy Ritchie directs, John Krasinski, Natalie Portman. I can't remember the other girl that's in it, but essentially modern day Indiana Jones, a la Uncharted, which just based on that seems like it could be better than the actual Uncharted. Like this could be what I wanted Uncharted to be.
Does he play which character is the spy?
I don't know. I guess we'll see.
Since it's Guy Ritchie, I figure half of them are spies, and there's at least one person doing a Russian accent that shouldn't.
Looks like Isa
Yeah, I guess
Gonzalez,
that's
Natalie
what we find
Portman,
out.
John Krasinski, Domhnall Gleeson. It's got a cast to it.
Yeah. So
Russell,
I'm
that
People
piqued
like
my interest.
Krasinski.
Sometimes.
I do.
Okay, I wasn't
Yeah?
sure. I haven't really seen much of him since that what was that show called The Office. So I wasn't sure if people enjoyed him as a serious actor.
I mean, I really like him as Jack Ryan. That show on Amazon, I
Yeah.
think, was pretty good. Number 7 for me, The Electric State, which is the Russo brothers Netflix movie about like after a robot revolution or something, looking for Millie Bobby Brown's brother, I think, from the trailer is what I'd
Billy
seen.
Bobby Brown?
Millie Bobby Brown?
Yeah,
Willie
Millie,
Bobby Brown?
right?
I don't know, her brother.
No,
I
no,
assume,
Willie
it's
Brown?
either Billy or Willie Bobby
oh.
Brown.
Gotcha. Okay, I see what you did.
No, you're talking about William H. Gacy.
Oh, yeah.
No.
That's, you know what? Nailed it.
And then number 6 for me, I'm putting this on there as a hope and a prayer. For the love of God, I want it to be good. Tron Ares. I am still on the
I assumed
fence
that would
with
be there.
this. I don't know what Jared Leto is going to look like in this movie, what this movie
How
is
many
going to
tattoos?
be. No idea what the plot is for this. I didn't bother looking it up. I just am kind of just waiting for a trailer to see what it looks like and how they do it. I think Joseph Kosinski's Tron Legacy is really fucking good. And I really hoped if they were going to do a third one, they'd bring back Kosinski and that aesthetic that they set up in that movie. Because I really wanted to see kind of where they went after that. But that,
So
I don't know, for whatever reason, didn't make money. So I guess they didn't pursue a third one at the time. So we'll see why they're doing one now.
So for me, that one, the biggest interest to me for that movie is that Nine Inch Nails is doing the soundtrack.
I thought you were going to say the Daft Punk.
Like they got Nine Inch Nails to do the entire soundtrack for the movie. very, very keyed in on that. Also, since they got Jared Leto in there, very happy it's not 30 Seconds to Mars doing the whole fucking thing. Ian looks like he's contemplating.
Who owns Tron? Who owns Tron?
Disney, isn't it?
Disney.
Yeah.
Okay, I was wondering if I could get a Morbius appearance.
No.
I mean,
you think he'll start morbing out? That's how he enters the computer world. He starts morbing out. I'm morbing out.
You know there will be edits of him in some way as Morbius in this movie. There will be fan edits.
Remember that Travolta thing I was talking about?
Oh, boy.
Morbius. Tron.
Dear Lord, no.
But I feel like I was hoping for that to be good as well, but I feel like I'm not as confident as you are to include it on my list.
Like I said, some of these I'm putting up there is just like I want them to be good. Mm-hmm. So I'm anticipating them just because I want them to be good. And you know, had we got a trailer for any of some of these, like the Fountain of Youth or Tron, if we got trailers for those, that might have put them somewhere on my list differently, or maybe took them off the list. You know, but for right now, not going on anything other than a cast list and a release date, it's enough to get me excited.
That's fair.
And I don't know what Electric State is trying to do. I don't know if that's a franchise or a one-off movie. I think the universe that it seems like that trailer set up, I think is really cool. Like these, I don't know, like living robots kind of thing. I just think the aesthetic looks really cool. A little bit Wall-E, yeah. But I don't know. I dig it. I'm excited. I'm enough behind the Russos that I think a lot of stuff they do I've enjoyed. So I will give this a shot and see how this goes. Like I said, Fountain of Youth is one that I know nobody else had really heard of. And again, I'm just putting it on there hoping that it's more of the treasure hunter, modern day Indiana Jones, what I feel like the Uncharted games are, what the Uncharted movie didn't quite get there. And I've liked some of the Guy Ritchie stuff, so and I think the cast is good, so I'm looking forward to that one.
I mean, and like to what you're saying about like not knowing things about movies, there's a movie on my honorable mentions. If we had more, it might have been in my top 3 if we knew more about it.
Yeah,
but we don't. So, you know, that's the way these lists have to go.
And I feel the same way about Jurassic World Rebirth. Like I'm there's nothing to go on other than director, casts, and it's happening. So, trailer could change my mind, but for right now, I'm excited. I'm hoping it's decent. Kind of reinvigorates the franchise. Kind of gets me excited, especially if they're going to do 2 more after this. Mm-hmm. We'll see what happens. Anything else to chime in for my bottom 5, or I'll move on to my top 5. Nothing. All right. Top 5 for me, coming in at number 5. Most of these I feel like are expected for me, probably. Number 5, Captain America: Brave New World. I'm right there with you guys. I'm excited. After Falcon and Winter Soldier, I want to see the continuation of that, what they do with Sam, how that translates to the larger MCU. For Thunderbolts, I actually think this is I don't know, more excited about this than Captain America, surprisingly. I just think this team of characters, I think, is going to be interesting to play off of each other, and I just want to see how that goes and where the story goes. I'm with Josh. I think there is a title change coming. I still think it doesn't make sense from a marketing standpoint that 3 months before your movie you change your title, but I think it could fit with maybe what the MCU is doing, so we'll see.
Well, but to that point for marketing, if you're like adding a subtitle, for instance,
subtitle maybe, yeah,
you know,
that would work.
It's not gonna, for the regular audiences, I don't think they're gonna even notice it happened.
Well, I think at one point we talked about the title completely changing to like Dark Avengers or something like that. But I don't think they'll go full blown that way. But to your point, yeah, subtitle could definitely work.
I got money.
Number 3 for me, I am really looking forward to F1, which is the Formula One movie with Brad Pitt and Joseph Kosinski is directing, and it feels like what he did with Top Gun Maverick. Like, let's put somebody in the cockpit of an F1 Formula One race car and see what it looks like on film. So the trailer doesn't give you much there is I don't know if it's official trailer or teaser trailer or what they called it. There is something out there that you can see. I know it's made by Apple TV. I think it's going to theaters first and then eventually ended up on Apple TV. But just some of the shots that they get in that movie. Feels like you felt like watching Top Gun in a fighter jet. So I'm just curious to see what the hell that looks and feels like. So that's interesting to me. Number 2, Fantastic Four: The First Steps. I'm putting it up there because I'm, again, more potential. Like I'm excited about the cast, excited about seeing what Fantastic Four looks like in the proper MCU, and where they go with that and how it connect. Again, I'm still waiting for them to connect all these dots in the MCU, and maybe I'm just waiting to, or more hopeful that maybe the others. I think other people have probably given up on, like, no, this stuff is going to make sense anymore, and we'll just kind of along for the ride. But I'm still hoping they're going to pull something out where this, looking back, will all connect and kind of make sense. I think Fantastic Four has got to be a big part of that, so we will see. Which leaves number 1 for me is Superman. And I don't know if I would have put it at number 1 if we had not gotten the trailer. I think the trailer was enough to get me actually really excited to see, James Gunn's vision for what to do with this character. There was a lot more of, like, other DC characters in the trailer than I expected. I expected it to really focus on Superman more and just really hammer that home, but I don't know. Again, a lot of this is just like, I'm curious to see where they go with it, and that's enough to get me excited. So we'll see if any of this stuff actually ends up as stuff that I like come the end of 2025. Because I guess some of them have the potential to go either way. But this is my list. So anything you guys want to touch on for? I think most of my top 5 we already talked about, so I don't know if we want to rehash anything. But
the only thing for me is just the F1 movie just didn't interest me because it's like it was a cool idea for me the same way that, like, you explained with, like, being inside the cockpit and all that. It's just the different stakes involved with racing versus, being a fighter jet or interest me very differently.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Did you watch the Ferrari movie?
Ford versus Ferrari? Yes.
Did you like? Well, I guess I was also to everyone. If you enjoyed that, and if that plays into this at all, or I don't think
very much enjoyed that
watches
movie.
F1.
I very much enjoyed the Ford versus Ferrari movie, but I feel like it wasn't about the racing. Like, that wasn't why I enjoyed that movie.
Yeah, and I mean, this one might not be, but I think just from what hooked me so far is I'm more interested in just how they directed it. Mm-hmm. Like, just sort of like they did with Top Gun. It's like, let's just strap a camera to a plane, put somebody in it, and fly around. We're not going to be on a soundstage in a cockpit with a blue screen.
Right.
Which, and I assume they do. I'm not saying no racing Formula One or other race car movies have not done practical effects like that, but this is the first one that feels like they just strapped a camera on a race car and said, drive around the track at 200 miles an hour. Let's see what that looks like.
Yeah, so, I think I seen, like, they had Brad Pitt actually driving, but he wasn't driving an F1 car. He was driving an F2 car because he would not be qualified to drive an F1. Like, they had him. They still wanted him in the cockpit of the car.
Yeah,
and like, you can tell the difference, right? Yeah. You can almost tell just the way they're, like, whoever's in the cockpit is reacting to what's going on. Like, when you're watching Top Gun Maverick, you can tell just the way the plane's moving, that someone's in the cockpit as this is going on. Same way with this race car stuff that they've shown. Just the way they're jerking around in there is that sounds bad, but as it's going down the track at that speed, you know what I mean? There's just, I don't know. It's certain stuff that just, to me, feels much more authentic, and that's enough to be like, all right, let's see what they did with this. So I'm hoping the story is enough to keep you going, and it's not just the spectacle of putting a camera in a car and having it race around the track. But I don't know actually what the plot of the movie is. I don't think the trailer gives us a story. It's just like, here's some really cool visuals and some people in the movie, and that's about it.
It's an old guy teaching a young guy.
No way.
Okay.
No. I mean, that's the plot.
Of
Good
like
enough. I mean,
30% of movies.
Guess which one's the young guy?
Brad Pitt.
Yes.
All right. Anything else for my list at all, or we'll loop back around for honorable mentions? Nothing.
Ready to move
all right. Quickly, we'll go through my list again. Top 10 for me. Number 10, Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. Number 9, Jurassic World Rebirth. Number 8, Fountain of Youth. Number 7, The Electric State. Number 6, Tron Ares. Number 5, Captain America Brave New World. Number 4, Thunderbolts. Number 3, F1. Number 2, Fantastic Four: The First Steps. And number 1 was Superman. I've also done a really bad job of talking about the release dates for all these. So maybe when I go through the master list at the end, I'll go through release dates as well for all this. Okay. Ian, we're going to loop back to you for honorable mentions. What do you have for honorable mentions?
I have 3. I have, of course, Zootopia 2.
Okay.
That movie created a new generation of furries, so let's see what this one does.
I knew you were going there with that. I knew that's where you were going to go.
It was that or just to talk about the porn.
And I'm surprised it wasn't that obvious to me, and I'm mad at myself for not seeing where he was going with that.
And then, of course, the theatrical follow-up to Thunderbolt Fantasy Toriken Yuki 4, Thunderbolt Fantasy Toriken Yuki Sashusou. It is the long-running Thunderbolt Fantasy franchise, which is a Japanese puppet show where they do kung fu with puppets and practical effects, and it's kind of fucking crazy and weird and awesome. And it's I think what Thunderbolt asterisk means they're doing a puppet movie, Josh. They're doing Thunderbolt Fantasy. It's all lies.
I mean, if they get to that point,
the Marvel movie's going to just be puppets. It's going to just be puppets. And then, of course, Chainsaw Man, the movie, Reze arc. So, of course, this is the follow-up to the Chainsaw Man anime. They're doing a movie for this one specific arc because that's what they got funding for.
All right. I don't have anything to add for any of those. So
Chainsaw Man's one of the current most popular shonen. It's a boy/action genre of manga right now, so everyone's really excited. People were very excited for the original Chainsaw Man TV show, which aired in fall 2022. It, of course, stars Genzi, the Chainsaw Man, a boy with a devil's heart, who joins government devil hunters to hunt devils. And he enjoys food because he grew up poor, so he likes just eating.
Do you have a release date for either Thunderbolt Fantasy 4 or the Chainsaw Man movie?
2025.
For both?
Correctamundo.
Okay.
My lists are so easy. Do you need the Zootopia one?
I got that one.
Yeah, you did.
November 26th.
Fur Day.
I don't know. Josh or Mike, anything to add for Ian's honorable mentions?
No. I'm glad something as innocent seeming as Zootopia was included somewhere, but then it was also like slightly bastardized and corrupted by the furry comment.
Yeah, we can't have anything nice on this show.
Ian's MO. That's
And then I blasted White Spider Liquid all over it.
Josh, what are your honorable mentions? You got to follow the White Spider Liquid comment.
Not if I pretend that it didn't happen. I had Fantastic Four in my honorable mentions. This is another one that I'm just hoping finally happens. It's slated right now for April 25th. It is The Accountant 2. I thought the first one from 2016 was a pretty good kind of action thriller and had this like intellectual twist, not twist, that's dumb, element to it that's not really typically present in movies like that. And I thought the chemistry between Affleck and Bernthal worked really well together. And I'm not sure if Anna Kendrick's coming back on this journey, but yeah, I'm hoping that finally happens. It's been rumored for years. And then my last, there is no release date officially for it. I'm just really, 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 really hoping it finally hits. It's Wake Up Dead Man, Knives Out 3.
Okay.
Which, if it does happen, will be a direct-to-Netflix movie, but regardless.
Yeah, it's happening. We just don't know when.
Yeah, it just has a generic 2025 release date. But the first time I saw Glass Onion was in a theater, because they did like a week or two national release for as much as they could get. So it might be in theaters, but regardless, I just want to see it.
Cool.
Mike, what do you got for honorable mention?
The first honorable mention I had was Mickey 17. We talked about that. I have two others. One is simply an untitled movie from Paul Thomas Anderson.
I knew it. I was going to say Paul
That
Thomas Anderson
is going to be
title.
starring Leonardo DiCaprio, Benicio del Toro, and Sean Penn. Coming on August 8th. We have a release date. It is happening. It is not titled. We don't have a plot. Otherwise, this movie may have made my list if we knew something more about it. But Paul Thomas Anderson plus Leo and Benicio, I'm in. I don't care as much for Sean Penn personally. I'm not really a fan of his, but I recognize he's a name for a reason. But the combination together sounds certainly very interesting. And the third is actually my number one in reality for both this year and next year and until it comes out. And that is Christopher Nolan making The Odyssey, which just recently got announced. I know it's probably 2026 or 2027 that it's happening, but it is the movie I am still currently anticipating more than anything we've talked about. So I think that counts a little bit. Because in 2025, I'll be anticipating that movie more than anything else we discussed.
I thought they gave a 2026 date for that.
I believe so, but I mean, this far in advance, I never take that for granted.
Because I think when I looked at that, I was like, holy shit, they just announced that he's officially doing this with a cast and it's only like a year and a half away. That feels like it's quick.
But it means he's been working on it for a while. I would assume that.
I mean, yeah, I mean that's probably got pre-production and stuff underway, but still, that still feels
Odyssey,
like a quick turnaround.
Yeah, for what the Odyssey is as a story, that certainly sounds quick because that's not a short story to tell, and he doesn't tell short movies, so
yeah,
we'll see. But yeah, I love Greek mythology, but always been very into it. Kind of.
Is this gonna change when you find out it's a part one?
No.
Okay.
Especially if he's doing the Iliad and the Odyssey, that would be amazing.
Well, I don't think you can do either of those in like one movie.
No, but if I don't know, throw it as a
unless
fucking
it's 5
prequel.
hours.
Yeah, I would take 3-4 hour movies on the Iliad and Odyssey. I would watch all three happily. Just a little sad we're not going to get Sean Bean as Odysseus though. That we could have had that from Troy. It was a thing. He could have lived for once. God damn it! But oh well. Actually, that is kind of the only movie he lives in is Troy, so it's weird.
Spoilers.
I'm not spoiling a 20-year-old movie.
You're spoiling the Trojan War.
That's true. Yes, the Peloponnesian War.
Whatever.
But that's my honorable mentions.
Okay. I have a couple more just because I wrote them down in case they weren't talked about. I figured I can touch on them quickly.
More Marvel movies?
No, actually. I've covered all the ones that are supposed to come out this year in my top 10, so I'm pretty solid. On my honorable mentions, I did have Ballerina. I am excited for that. It just didn't make my top 10. Now You See Me 3, as I mentioned, was also on there. And the other, I think I have 4. It might just be because I've seen trailers of them in the last 2 weeks, so they're just kind of like fresh on my mind. They put out a trailer for Karate Kid Legends, which I didn't really care about. I haven't been watching Cobra Kai at all, but the trailer was enough to be like, all right, I like kind of where you're going, and I'll check this out and see what it looks like. Another one is just called Black Bag. It's a Steven Soderbergh spy thriller type of movie with Fassbender and Cate Blanchett as playing a married couple, which feels like Mr. and Mrs. Smith if it was serious and not like a little bit action-y and comedic.
Actually, saw a trailer for that last night. Didn't know it existed until just then.
Yeah, so I think that looks good. Another one for me based on a true story. The title is just September 5th, which is the news crew that was covering the Munich Olympics in 1972. Covering sports, and a block away, the hostage situation broke out and happened, and then they covered that story. So I think that trailer got me excited. I think it just looks like a really good, well-written and acted thriller type of movie. And the last one...
I have some feedback on that already. That was one of AMC's sneak peek movies.
Yeah.
Like a few weeks ago. It was pretty good.
Okay.
It was pretty good.
So you already saw it.
Yeah. I mean, it's exactly what you think it is in terms of tone and weight. But it was pretty good. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because it's like select theaters December 13th, and then it's everywhere January 17th.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not expecting to see it until next year, which is why it's on the 2025 list, even though, as Josh mentioned, you could probably catch it somewhere now. But for me, it's going to hit next year. And the last one, they put up like a teaser trailer, which is basically just these two actors talking about a movie that I did not realize was happening. But Jack Black and Paul Rudd are starring in The Anaconda, which is Christmas next year. Chances are that probably will get delayed because anything in December typically gets pushed to the next year. But for anyone that has seen the 90s Anaconda with what Jennifer Lopez, I think was in that, right?
John Voight,
and...
Owen Wilson.
Yep.
Yeah.
Ice Cube.
What's his name? Eric Roberts.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So I remember watching that in the 90s. It was stupid. But...
Did you see the other sequels? The Hunt for the Blood Orchid?
No.
Oh, man. Actually kind of better than the original because the original was so bad. It's still bad.
Yeah,
it's
so I don't know.
But
I mean, I don't know what this one is. Like with those two actors, I'm like, oh, it's a comedy. But I don't know if they're going to play this straight or not. So we'll see. We'll see an actual trailer what this looks like. But for now, the quote-unquote trailer is just Jack Black and Paul Rudd saying, hey, we're in Anaconda. And that's it. So you no sense of what the movie is.
Have they said
but
it
it's
is
happening,
directly
so...
tied to those movies?
Not that I am aware.
So,
at least nothing in the video that they
So
put
for
out
all we
that
know,
says
this
that.
could actually just be a porn. Like a Boogie Nights kind of thing. A dude known as the
I
Anaconda.
mean, they definitely mention a giant snake in the movie.
That doesn't rule out what I just said.
Point taken.
It's a group of friends who want to remake the original movie.
Oh, is that what it says?
That's
so
what
it's
the
like,
movie is?
Okay.
Yeah.
So
they're
it's kind of meta of them being aware of
yes.
the movie Anaconda.
So they're that actually could be fun. That actually does sound kind of fun.
Okay. Yeah. So we'll see what the actual first trailer for that looks like.
It's going to be Jack Black in a very poorly made like floss snake outfit going, okay, and I'm a snake.
It's just, what was that movie with him and
the Minecraft movie?
Jumanji.
Be Kind Rewind. Was that the one where they had to remake all the videos that they screwed up? Yeah.
You sweet the movie.
They did that on All That. They ripped off an All That sketch.
Wouldn't be the first time, I'm sure. Okay. That concludes all of our lists. I will try to do the rundown one more time. Ian, I'm going to have to ask for some assists on some of yours because I cannot.
No, you got to say it.
No, because all I have for your number 10 is just Kobayashi. I know there's a bunch of more words in there, and that's all I wrote down. So
Kobayashi Sanchi no Me Dragon Samishi Garia no Ryu.
Okay, what he said, there's no release date for that one. Number 9, Avatar Fire and Ash, December 19th, 2025. Number 8, The Naked Gun, August 1st, 2025. Number 7, Mortal Kombat 2, October 24th, 2025. Number 6, Ballerina, June 6th, 2025.
From the World of John Wick, Ballerina.
Okay, From the World of John Wick, Ballerina. June 6th, 2025. Number 5, Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning, May 23rd, 2025. Number 4, Superman, July 11th, 2025. I don't know if I got this one right. Puli Maga Madoka Magica.
You got enough right that I'm surprised.
To be fair, that's the link I sent him in the chat there. I did send a link directly to that one.
I actually didn't even see that. I was Googling that, and that was the result that I found after putting enough words together to find some sort of title that looked like it was right. But I appreciate the assist, Mike. No release date on that one. Number 2 for Ian, Mickey 17th, April 18th, 2025. Number 1 for Ian, Lupin the Third, the movie, right?
Provisional title,
parentheses. No release date for that one.
And colon.
Sorry, I didn't put I never say the colon.
There isn't one in that one. I just wanted to say that.
All right. Honorable mentions for Ian's Utopia 2 because of the furries, November 26, 2025. Chainsaw Man the movie, no release date yet. And your other one, I don't remember. I don't
Thunderbolt Fantasy.
That one either. What is it?
Thunderbolt Fantasy.
Okay. 4, right? Thunderbolt Fantasy 4.
No.
Yeah.
It was past 4. 4 was the last one they made. This one didn't have a number. I was expecting a 5.
This is good enough. I was honestly surprised we got this far. We're taking this as a win. Let's move on.
Okay. All right, going to Josh's list. Number 10 for Josh. Wicked for Good, November 21st, 2025. Number 9, Now You See Me 3, November 14th, 2025. Number 8, Thunderbolts, May 2nd, 2025. Number 7, The Wolfman, January 17th. Number 6, Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, May 23rd. Number 5, 28 Years Later, June 20th. Number 4, From the World of John Wick, Ballerina, June 6th. Number 3, Captain America: Brave New World, February 14th. Number 2, November 7th. I skipped the title. Predator: Badlands on November 7th. Number 1, Superman, July 11th, 2025. Honorable mentions for Josh: Fantastic Four: The First Steps, July 27th. The Accountant 2, April 25th. And Wake Up Dead Man, Knives Out 3. No release date for that one yet. For Mike, number 10, Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, May 23rd. Number 9, From the World of John Wick, Ballerina, June 6th. Number 8, Jurassic World Rebirth, July 2nd. Number 7, Superman, July 11th. Number 6, Captain America: Brave New World, February 14th. Number 5, 28 Years Later, June 20th. Number 4, Mortal Kombat 2, October 24th. Number 3, Fantastic Four: The First Steps, July 27th. Number 2, The Running Man, November 7th. And number 1, Return to Silent Hill, no release date for that one yet. Honorable mentions for Mike: Mickey 17, April 18th. Untitled Paul Thomas Anderson movie, August 8th. And The Odyssey by Christopher Nolan, which is not released. There are no release date yet. We think 2026. Finally, for my list, number 10, Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, May 23rd. Number 9, Jurassic World Rebirth, July 2nd. Number 8, Fountain of Youth, which just has a 2025 release date for Apple TV. I don't know if that's getting a theatrical release or not. November 7th, The Electric State, March 14th on Netflix. Number 6, Tron Ares, October 10th. Number 5, Captain America: Brave New World, February 14th. Number 4, Thunderbolts, May 2nd. Number 3, F1, June 27th. Number 2, Fantastic Four: The First Steps, July 27th. Number 1, Superman, July 11th. Honorable mentions for me: From the World of John Wick, Ballerina, June 6th. Karate Kid Legends, May 30th. September 5th, which is everywhere, January 17th. Black Bag, March 14th. The Anaconda, December 25th, 2025. And Now You See Me 3, November 14th. That concludes our most anticipated movies of 2025. Any final thoughts from you guys before we close this off and do the normal spiel?
You guys got another 2 hours?
No, I'm good.
I mean, I do, but...
All right. Well, thanks, you gentlemen, for your...
I'm looking forward to a good upcoming year, and looking forward in a couple of weeks to us recording our favorites of 2024. And
yeah, we got to start another list after that.
Yeah,
more
after this one.
content.
Start another list.
Soon after
Check out
that,
my podcast.
we're not gonna let Brian get off the hook for this. Coming up in March, three short months away, we have a 10-year anniversary episode coming up.
Live on
Which
and now that is on. You can obviously edit that out if you wanted to. I'm thinking you're not going to, so you're on the record now.
Yeah. Which, no idea what to do for that one. But yeah, it will be 10 years, which is fucking nuts.
Maybe we can finally
watch...
our...
No. Monster Musume, Everyday Life of Monster Girls.
No.
Finally, 8 years later, you're going to watch that episode.
No, Ian, I'm trying to feed you content, because I'm thinking about it. You guys gave me lists for something that we've never done. You guys gave, like, 6 months ago, I got lists from you guys. Yeah, it's on a idea we had for... I think it was, movies of the top 25 of the 2000s, and see where we rank collectively.
Josh had a birthday when this happened.
Yeah.
That's how long it's been.
So, because I got those results from you, I pulled the results. I have them finished, and we just never did anything with it. Sure. So that could be an idea for 10 years.
Movie music draft show that we all had talked about that I didn't forget about, but
I forgot about that one too. Yeah.
Thought that would be fun.
And, of course, the Monster Musume episode.
Yeah.
2 of those 3 ideas we'll probably do, and it's not going to be the monster one.
You know what? We can record a separate episode, Ian, and kind of like the horror episodes that Josh and I do. I'll do it.
Make sure you put a list in there so it ends up on Ian's list podcast.
Top 10 moments in the episode.
Don't send it to me.
Make Ian put that together and upload it somewhere.
I just drop off a thumb drive at Brian's house every week.
Did you post it
yet? I
deliver
my podcast.
Did you post it yet?
Randomly find thumb drives in the mailbox every so often.
I don't even want him to post them. I just want to know he gets them.
There could be gold in there. He has to review it, you know?
That's enough for us.
You get one crypto coin.
It's true.
If you've enjoyed the show, please support us. Leave a 5-star rating and review. Give us a share on social media. Make sure you follow or subscribe to keep up with us and the show. We are on Spotify, iTunes, Anchor, Amazon. Now you can find us on YouTube. Audio format should be there. Stitcher and Google Podcasts have bit the dust, so we added that option for you. You can always find us on Facebook. Search Bry Guy Super Friends or go to facebook.com/Bry Guy Super Friends. You can send us questions, comments, topic suggestions there. You can try to email us, bryguysuperfriends@gmail.com. Ian mentioned it earlier, I think before the show. I totally forgot we actually had an email address, so that's how often we check that. I am on Twitter still. Barely ever use it, but you can hit us up at BG Super Friends there. Eventually, maybe I'll start making other social media tags in other places where I actually want to be on social media, if you want to reach out to us. You can follow me on Twitch, Jedi Bry Guy. That's Jedi with an I, Bry with a Y. Whenever we do live shows or if I decide to stream, do it there. You can keep up with us there. Check us out. I guess that's it. On behalf of Josh, Ian, Mike, and myself, thank you for listening, and we'll talk to you next time.